On Zoom?
Yeah, here. Yeah. Till for the next 2 minutes, like that. Can you do that?
Okay. Right now or at 9:30? I didn't get
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right now we're going live on Facebook. Okay.
Namo Vishnu Padaya. Yes, can I sing now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama
Rama Hare
Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Nitai Gora Haribo 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 Nitai Gora Haribo Nitai Gora Haribo 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 Nitai Gora Haribo
Hari Gaur Premanande
Hari
Hari.
Haribo.
Okay, welcome to the call, everybody. Divyangi Devi Dasi from New York, Suyash Prabhu from Pacifica, and also watching us on Facebook are Dilip Bhai Patel Prabhu and Namrata Khatwade from Australia. Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam. So good to have you all here, and happy Mother's Day to all of you who are watching us. So Suyash Prabhu, I see someone more joining us here, and that is our dear Sashi Shekhar Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu Dandat Pranams. So maybe we should get started because today is going to be a small class. And so can we just get going with the reading order first? And maybe are you ready to bring up and share our, very good, that's what I call as readiness in devotional service.
Hare Krishna.
Go ahead. Okay, we'll do the reading order later because I still see people are joining. So starting with the Sanskrit. Om Ajnanatimarandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Matsamo nasti papatma na paradhi cha kaschana parihare pilajjame kim bruve purushottama yuvati nam yatha yuni yunam cha yuvatav yatha mano bhi ramate tadvan mano me ramatam tvayi bhumau skalita padanam भूमिरेवावलम्बनं त्वयि जातापराधानां त्वमेवा शरणं प्रभु गोविन्दा वल्लभे राधे प्रार्थये त्वामहं सदा त्वदीयम् इति जानातु गोविन्दो मां त्वया सह राधे वृन्दावनाधीशे करुणामृतवाहिनी कृपया निज पादाब्जा दास्यं माह्यं प्रदीयताम्. So Hare Krishna to everybody who joined us today. And Suyash Prabhu, if you can give us the reading order that we're going to follow today.
Divyangi Mataji, Shashishekar Prabhu, Khyati Mataji, Suruchi Mataji.
Victoria will also be coming. Please put her in the order too.
Okay, after Shashishekar Prabhu, Victoria Mataji. And then Suruchi Mataji, Suyash, Manasi, Priti Radhika Mataji, and Shraddha Mataji.
Okay, awesome. Okay, Dandavat pranams to all of you, and thank you to Divyangi Mataji for leading the Kirtan today in the morning.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Your Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Vaishali Mataji. Dandavat pranam. Okay, let's get started.
All right. O Purushottama, no sinner or offender is as bad as I am. How can I describe my shame? Just as the minds of young ladies take pleasure in a young man, and the minds of young men take pleasure in a young woman, kindly let my mind take pleasure in you alone.
My turn, right? Just as the ground is the only support for those whose feet have slipped, you alone are the only shelter for those who have offended you. Now your turn.
Oh, Srimati Radharani, beloved of Lord Govinda, this is my request. May you and Lord Govinda consider me one of your assistants.
Oh, Srimati.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, Srimati Radharani, O Queen of Vrindavan, you are a river flowing with the nectar of mercy. Please be kind to me and give me a little service at your lotus feet.
Okay, let's not delay between. We have a very short time today. Just go in when your turn comes.
Mataji, we get the Panchal, we're done.
Okay, then bring up reflections.
Manobhiramate tadvan mano me ramatam tvai. So when everything else fails, prayer is the only way. We like requesting the mind to Lord that please focus on Krishna.
Good.
Dasyam hayam pradiyatam.
Can you please post the order?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was posted. Okay, sorry for that. Yeah, we need the written word, Suyash Prabhu.
Yeah, I was sharing screen, so I was not typing. That's the reason.
Okay. So you can yeah. Manda Sumanda Matayo, Suyash Prabhu. In this Kali Yuga, our memories are short. We can't remember.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to everyone.
Yeah. So from the internet, we got Let My Mind Take Pleasure in You Alone by Bhagavad-gita Devi Dasi. Then the pranams, Mataji, and converts to Sanjay Karanji Prabhu also watching us on Facebook. And okay, so what should we do? Are you done with the reflections? Can we move?
Yes, looks like.
Okay, very good. So what do we do? Chapter 1, right? Reading. Whose order is it? Do we have the order now? I can see
Yes,
my
Mataji.
reading. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you read it one more time, please?
Yeah. Divyangi Mataji, Shashi Shekhar Prabhu, Victoria Mataji, Suruchi Mataji, Khyati Mataji, Niral Prabhu, Suyash, Manasi, Varshana Mataji, Shraddha Mataji.
You forgot me, Prabhu,
Oh,
but
sorry,
I'm
Mataji.
supposed to go with Mansi, so I'll remember that. No problem.
Okay, after Mansi, Priti Radhika Mataji, and then Varshana Mataji, and then Shraddha Mataji. I'm very sorry.
Oh,
No
no problem.
problem. Okay, then who goes in now?
Chapter 1, Observing the Armies on the Battlefield of Kurukshetra. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? Sanjaya said, O king, after looking over the army arrayed in the military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words.
O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, sons of Drupada, son of Drupada. Here in this army are many heroic bowmen equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna, great fighters like Yuyudhana, Virata, and Drupada.
Text 5. There are also great heroic powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Chekitana, Kashi Raja, Purujit, Kunti Bhoja, and Shaibhya. There are the mighty Yudhamanyu, the very powerful Uttamoja, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters.
But for your information, O best of Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and sons of Somadatta called Bhurishrava, who are always victorious in battle.
There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kind of weapons and all are experienced in military science. Our strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited.
Text 11. All of you must now give full support to grandfather Bhishma, as you stand as at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of army. Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandseer of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy. Hare Krishna.
After that, the conch shells, drums, bugles, trumpets, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous. On the other hand, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, seated on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells.
Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called Panchajanya. Arjuna blew his the Devadatta, and Bhima, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew his terrific conch shell called Pondra. King Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell the Ananta Vijaya, and Nakula and Sahadeva blew the Sugosha and Manipushpaka. The great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighter Shikhandi, Drishtadyumna, Virata, the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupada, the sons of Draupadi, and others, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells.
The blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious. Vibrating both in the sky and on the earth, it shattered the hearts of the son of Dhritarashtra. At that time, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, Arjuna then spoke to Lord Krishna these words.
Arjuna said, I said, oh, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. Next.
Suruchi?
Sorry. Sanjaya said, O descendant of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, just behold Partha, all the Kurus assembled here.
There Arjuna could see within the midst of the armies of both parties, his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his fathers-in-law and well-wishers. When the son of Kunti, Arjuna, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus.
Arjuna said, "My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. My whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, and my bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning."
I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself, and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune. O Krishna, killer of the Keshi demon, I do not I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsman in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness.
Oh, O Govinda, of what avail to us are a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers in law, grandsons, brothers in law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra?
Next.
Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune, and how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen?
O Janardana, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin? With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion.
Text 40. When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of family become polluted, and from degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performance for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. Hare Krishna.
By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard from disciplic succession that those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in hell.
Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts. Driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness, we are intent on killing our own kinsmen. Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield.
Sashi?
Yes, sorry.
Victoria.
Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief.
All right. So we finished one chapter of Bhagavad Gita collectively here today. And so now it's reflection time. Divyangi. Yeah.
Yes,
Go ahead, Mataji.
go ahead, Mataji, no problem. Yes,
And Divyangi, if you can move your cell phone just a little bit so that we can see you. Right now, I only see tip of the forehead. Yeah, this is good. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah, I just remember that about how everything get destroyed because Pandavas, they were thinking that they would kill all their relatives and everything will be destroyed, like all the families and all dynasties, the culture of this women's attitude to the husbands, right? Everything will be polluted, starting from consciousness.
Exactly. There's nobody to tell you. Thank you. Varshana, you were saying trying to say something?
yes, Mataji. I'm not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the whole world, whole earth. Leave alone this earth. I mean, I'm not prepared to fight with them for the whole world, let alone this earth.
Okay, good. So his desire not to fight is becoming strong, and he's giving reason, right? He's setting the thing. Okay.
And it seems that he has no, I mean, it is confirmed that he has no greed actually for anything.
He has no greed for anything. Okay.
He's saying I'm trembling. My hair is standing on the end, as if he's very afraid. And the Gandiva is slipping from his hand.
Gandhi was
Just like before any examination, we are completely afraid. Yeah.
Yes. And so about Gandiva slipping from the hand, what does it signify? We talked about that, right? So what
His
is,
skills are lost.
his what is lost?
Skills.
His skills are going lost. His, yeah. So we had talked about his identity. He's losing his identity, right? As that I am the great archer. Because if you're an archer, then you should have the Gandiva always in your hand. It should not slip, right? That's the thing that defines you, right? Good. What else? Anybody else wants to?
One thing that sticks out in this particular chapter for me is, such a great devotee Arjuna is. He is he's making, here we are discussing he's trembling and he's fearful and he has weakness of his heart. He's doing Vishad, but actually it is like a setup for Krishna to, it's not Arjuna, it's for us, because Arjuna, if he cannot say this after defeating the other warriors, all these warriors in the Yuddha, in the war of Virat, where he single-handedly, with no army, nobody, he was single-handedly able to defeat Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Duryodhan, uh, and so many people, like all the entire army went there. He did that. He was not trembling at that time. This shows that Arjuna, he is a great warrior, and his humility is so that he is doing this to prepare a platform for Krishna to deliver the message for weak-hearted people who are actually us and not Arjuna.
Yeah, yeah. Very good. Very good. And who has brought about that change?
Sorry, what?
Suddenly this great warrior, why has he suddenly turned 180 degrees and
Krishna himself.
Yeah, Krishna.
Krishna himself, right? As the
Rishikesha.
as a controller. Very good. As the controller of the senses. Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts?
All kind of community projects are destroyed. Like right now, we are not able to go to the temple and take darshan.
Yeah, which is not because the elders
and
are...
get association on Mother's Day.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Good. So should we go and start continuing from where we left off on Friday?
Yes.
Or reflection? So, so what were we discussing?
Greed.
Greed. Okay. And we had said that we will continue doing the greed. So we will quickly just go through the translation. So Victoria was reading, and so Victoria Mataji can continue reading and give us the translation for 37, 38.
O Janardhan, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we who can see the crime in destroying a family engage in these acts of sin?
Okay. Next person, please.
A Kshatriya is not supposed to refuse to battle or gamble when he is so invited by some rival party. Under such an obligation, Arjuna could not refuse to fight because he had been challenged by the party of Duryodhan. In this connection, Arjun considered that the other party might be blind to the effects of such challenge. Arjun, however, could see the evil consequences and could not accept the challenge. Obligation is actually binding when the effect is good, but when the effect is otherwise, then no one can be bound. Considering all those pros and cons, Arjuna decided not to fight.
Okay, good. So time for us to continue with our reflections from continuing on from Friday. And I think we had covered quite a few of the aspects mentioned in this verse. And we were left with greed. So we are going to discuss greed a little bit in more detail. So for doing that, we'll do a little bit more of the reading. And this will be from the 16th chapter of Bhagavad-gita, kind of just, jumping ahead a little bit. And I will bring up the chapter, and then we will share it. We'll share it with you, and then we will continue on with our reading order. So who goes next after Sashi Shekhar Prabhu?
It's me, Mataji.
All right. So you know what? You have no idea what's up in store for you. You're coming up with Bhagavad Gita chapter 16, and I'm going to ask you to read these two texts.
All right, Mataji.
Okay, good.
The demonic person thinks, so much wealth do I have today and will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now and it will increase in future more and more. He is my enemy and I have killed him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am the perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices. I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. Thus, perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Continue on. Next person.
Self-complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth and false prestige, they may sometimes proudly perform sacrifices in name only, without following any rules or regulations. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion.
Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence into the various demoniac species of life. Attaining repeated birth amongst the species of demonic life, O son of Kunti, such persons can never approach me. Gradually they sink down to the most abominable type of existence.
There are three gates leading to this hell: lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give those up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. The man who has escaped these three gates of hell, O son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to self-realization, and thus gradually attains the supreme destination.
He who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. One should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated.
Okay, so we'll stop over here. And so my question is that what are the three gates that lead to hell?
Lust,
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 anger,
Lust,
and greed.
anger, and greed.
Lust, anger, and greed, right? So remember L, A, and G. L, A, G. How do you pronounce L, A, G?
Lag.
Lag, right? So this is something that will put a lag in your devotional service. Lust, anger, and greed, right? So what exactly is greed? Because we're talking about greed today, right? So what exactly is greed?
When whatever you have
anything
is
that
not enough.
When whatever
Lord,
you have is not enough, right?
yeah.
Right? And enough is a
Accum-
very
accumulating more than required.
accumulating more than required is more.
Considering,
Yeah.
considering oneself to be an enjoyer for that, for the wealth he's accumulated and lording over it.
Okay, so you will have greed because you have a tendency to enjoy. You want to enjoy. You want to control. So you want more and more, right? So greed basically, as Divyangi Mataji pointed out, that you have something and you want more, right? So we have to keep in mind the distinction between greed and ambition, right? Ambition is you don't have it and you want to have it. Greed is you already have it and you want more. And so Divyangi had used the word enough when she was defining greed. And, it was a very interesting quote that I read when I was young. It said, little is little, more is more, but enough is enough. So think about that. That enough is enough, and this enough can vary from a person to person, right? I mean, how much Bhima ate as compared to the other Pandavas. When Kunti was married, not to Kunti, when Draupadi was married into the five Pandava family, then there is this nice little episode where her mother-in-law, Kunti Maharani, she's having a dialogue with her daughter-in-law. The daughter-in-law is asking her that, I've come into this family, tell me that, what am I supposed to do? How do I serve the Pandavas? And she said, okay, so we are collecting alms, etc. So we will collect all of it, and then the food precisely, and then you will divide it into two halves. And one half you will keep for Bhima. The other half you will divide between the rest of us, because enough is enough. So the definition of enough for somebody is something, and for another person is something. But idea is that don't take more than enough. And Prabhupada gives such a nice example of how our greed is there. And he says that you leave a bag of grain in a crossroad, in the middle of a road, right? What's going to happen? The birds are going to see, oh, wow, there's a grain. So they will come, they will swoop down, they'll take a grain and then fly off, Another one will come, they'll sweep and they'll fly off like that, Some cow might come and then the cow might eat a little bit from there and then, be done with it. But when a human being comes there, what does he do?
takes it
The
away.
whole bag and stores
Everything.
it.
Takes the whole bag and he stores it. So he needs it or doesn't need it, right? So we saw a surge of greed rampant when the news came out about the coronavirus, right? You saw videos going viral about how people were fighting over 2 rolls of toilet paper, like that, right? So that is greed. I have this and I want more and more and more. And in 16th chapter that we read just now, Krishna had laid it out so nicely. So much wealth I have right now, and so much more I will get because of my plan. And this is a person who's coming between my plans and my desire to enjoy. One of you has a noisy line. If you can mute yourself, because I hear this.
Divyangi Mataji.
Divyangi, if you can mute. Okay, thank you. So, yeah, so when there's a noise, I lose my thought process. That's why I keep requesting. So what was I telling you all?
About toilet paper. that people were hoarding it.
People were hoarding it. Yeah, I think went beyond. I went past the toilet paper. Yeah, so I was saying that Krishna is telling us that in Bhagavad Gita is leading it very clearly, has laid it out very clearly, and he's saying that people make all these plans, that so much wealth I've accumulated, and I have made all these plans so that I will accumulate even more, right? And then because of all these investments that I've made, or all these plans that I'm making, or the jobs that I've applied for, and things like that, so I'm going to make even more money. And then in that process, if there's somebody who comes in between my desire to enjoy, eh, I have plans to kill him. Some I have already killed. Some more I will kill, like that. And so we have to be cognizant of that, not to do it. And Sukhdev Goswami lays it out so clearly in the Srimad Bhagavatam. He says, Deha Patra Kaladeshu, that famous verse where he says that we surround ourselves with these things, which are the fallible soldiers. I might think that I have a very influential father. My father is a king, or my father is the president of my company, or he's the country, or the president of my company. I've got everything laid out. I've got a wonderful family. Or an older person might think that I've got sons and I've got daughters nicely placed. But he says that these are all fallible. They will just all die. And at the time of death, they won't be able to help you in any way, shape, or form. So we are all alone, like that. But the sad part is that paschan apina paschati, people still don't, they see it, but they still don't see it. And we come back to the seeing that has been our theme of discussion all along, right? But Yadyapetena paschanti. The Arjuna is also saying that they don't see it, but I'm seeing it, so I should not fight, like that. Okay. So we have a few more minutes here to collect some reflections on greed.
Mataji, I have the same question the other day. Neeral Prabhu was asking about good and greater good.
Effects.
Right? In there, how would we know? So there is something which has to be done, and I can say, well, the other thing which is less good than the good which is my responsibility is greater good for me. So that is very relative. So how would I know which is greater good and which is good?
We won't know. Because if you're asking that question, that how will I know in a particular situation, we are not able to figure it out what it is, we won't know. We won't know. And in some cases we won't know. In some cases you will, right? So there is always this triangulation that Vachashika Prabhu asks us to do. And that is that if you don't know, then ask your spiritual master. And then what your spiritual master is saying should also be corroborated with what is there in the Shastras. So Guru, Shastras. And then the other sadhu should also be saying the same thing. So you should have Guru, you should have the sadhu, you should have the Shastras. Like that. So when you are in doubt, you always reach out. And this Bhagavad Gita is a clear example of how Arjuna has so many doubts and he's reaching out to his spiritual master. And he's, listening to him. Of course, if your spiritual master is Krishna, then you don't even have to look at sadhus and shastras. But Krishna is constantly telling him all that, like, what great people do, other men follow. So if you are a sadhu of any sort, we have to be very careful of what we are doing because others will follow us. Like that. So yes, there will be situations where we will not know. For example, in this situation, what Arjuna is saying is so compelling, right? I mean, there's nothing that Arjuna has said for which you can say, this is wrong. If you don't go deeper inside and look at the other perspective. So what happens is that in the case of Duryodhana and all, their vision is blocked. And the Bhagavad Gita opens by saying that Dhritarashtra is blind. And Prabhupada says not only is he visually blind, he is physically blind, he's also spiritually blind, right? And it is very important for us to be able to have the right vision. So because of their vision being clouded because of greed, they are looking at a very narrow and a constricted path, right? And their decisions will be just governed by this very strong emotion, which is greed, that I want to do this, so come what may, it doesn't matter. And as you can see, he's been doing all the wrong things along the way, right, in his greed to get the kingdom. So his vision is constricted because of that. On the other hand, we have got Arjuna, and his vision is also constricted. His vision is constricted not because of greed, that one of you mentioned. He has no greed at all, right? I'm willing to give this up, I'm willing to give that up. His greed is constricted by his
Compassion.
yes, and that why is yes, it is compared.
Attachments.
Attachment.
Attachment was the word I was looking for. Yeah. So because of his attachment to his family, swajanam, swajanam, swajanam is he saying all the time, right? Swa is mine, right? He's coming from there. So his vision is getting constricted because of that. And so Krishna, as his spiritual master, is going to raise him to a higher level so that he can see the bigger picture. And when you are not able to see the bigger picture, that is when the doubts are going to arise, right? Whether I should do it or whether I should not do that. And again, going back again to Api chet suduracharo, that is the verse on which I live. Api chet suduracharo bhajte mam ananya bhak sadhur eva samantavya samyak vyavasito hisa. This says that api chet suduracharo, if according to us, if we see someone behaving in a very abominable way, then we should not start criticizing them. For example, when Prabhupada decided to come to USA, and when he came to USA, his godbrothers all said that he's a sannyasi. And according to the scripture, the sannyasi is not supposed to cross the seas, right? So if you look at, one of the things he disobeyed, his guru told, so yes, there was guru, there were sadhus, there were others who would have agreed to that, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But the shastras, yes, if you go into those shastras and look at, just some sections of the shastras, then he was doing it wrong, right? But then when you look at it from a different perspective, so according to his god brothers, he was doing wrong, right? That is one vision. But then when you look at the bigger picture, if he had just stayed in Vrindavan, he would have just stayed in Vrindavan, and only Prabhupada would have gone back from wherever he came, right? But because he stepped out and listened to the script, to his spiritual master's orders, then see how many went back to Godhead because of him, and how many will continue to go back to Godhead because of him. So that is a greater cause, right? The good cause could be that, he would have just sat there and just done his thing in Vrindavan.
And another point, Mataji, for Srila Prabhupada, when he left his family, you see, once I had asked you the question and you answered it very well. You told me that he left his family for the greater cause. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had all these scriptures, all this explanation, and ISKCON, International Society of Krishna Consciousness. And so it was his greater cause. That's why he left his family and he preached the name of the Lord.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up. I didn't want to bring it up on Mother's Day. Yeah, and we have Namrata Khatpade Mataji from Australia. She's saying that she likes the less is less, more and more fact, and then also difference between greed and ambition. Yeah. And Vidyavadhu says that when you are in doubt, you reach out to your spiritual masters, to the Shastras, and to other sadhus who are around us. And welcome, Nijdham Prabhu. It's my good fortune to have you on the call here today. Okay, so I told my teacher that I'll be 15 minutes late to the class because it was Mother's Day. So I said, okay, let me spend some time here. And so we have 5 more minutes, more reflections on greed. Do you want to listen to a story on greed?
Yes.
But there was one question.
Questions first, yeah.
Sorry. So last time, like what Suresh Prabhu brought up, also I had the similar thing was when the results are binding and when they're not binding.
Yeah.
And you didn't know the results beforehand. So
mind can justify either way, right? Like if we think about it. So it's like I can think of 10 positive things and 10 negative things the way I like on one question, right?
Yes, the mind is like that. The mind is like that, right? That's why we say never stay alone with your mind.
Yeah.
And then, so that's a tie. This is 10-10 is a tie. And I would even say that, even if it was not a tie, even if it's not a tie, even if it is a 10-8 or a 10-5, it's always nice to reach out to people, right? If it is something simple like, should I take a shower now or not take a shower? Your mind can tell you so many things about that also, for such a simple thing, it can give you two very opposing views. It can present those opposing views to you like that, right? But when it is something very major, right, which is going to affect others and affect you and your devotional service, then you should always consult, always.
Then
Mataji, I have
Mataji, in that sense, if we look at the or our imagined outcome of it, if
Imagined
we
outcome,
or
that's the word. Yeah.
or our process of doing it, if it leads to hankering, then there is like some kind of a sense attachment or sense enjoyment or sense entitlement is involved. But if something that frees you from that attachment, then that is for a greater good rather than
There you go.
other side.
We always feel that it will free me, right? When we say, okay, when I get this job, I'll be happy and I'll be free. But that never happens. So,
yes.
that's when enough we have to determine.
Yeah, that is material life. Sachi Shekhar Prabhu had a question coming
Yes,
up.
Mataji, I have one question. Sometimes we catch ourselves that we also know that, okay, this is not good, that I'm going to do it, that, this is, I'm reacting to this person, and you catch yourself, this is not how I should be reacting, but yet you react just because it is your, your ego takes a hit sometimes, or, but it just is like, then your mind also gives, okay, if you don't say right now, this is going to be a new normal. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it depends on the situation and your role, and also the receptivity of the other person, right? If you are, if you don't want a new normal to be set, right? For example, if a parent is there trying to guide the child and doesn't want to set the new normal, then the parent has to repeat. But the thing is that how do you repeat it? Some kids, don't mind if they are yelled at. Some people are very sensitive and they will, go into a shell and recoil like that. And always keep it a habit. And because we are all sadhus, we should make it a habit that whenever a thought comes, and this is a practice, this is a sadhana we need to do, that between thinking, feeling, willing, and action, try to put as much as big gap between all the four. So in the beginning, it'll happen that these things happen so quickly like that. Thinking, feeling, willing, and happening. Like, somebody said something, I looked at it, felt it, boom, something comes out of our mouth, which is very hurting. And words when go out of the mouth, we were talking yesterday about Brahmastra. You cannot withdraw and retract the Brahmastra, right? So words you cannot retract. So always be very cognizant of the fact, because always also keep relationships over projects, right? Relationship with my kids, relationship with my parents, relationship with my god siblings, with my siblings, with my wife, with our spouses, right? It might be a project. It might be that Victoria Mataji did not cook your favorite cookies on time. So you have so many options on how do you react to that, right? So always.
It has never been a problem though.
Now he has confirmed on internet. Okay. All right. It's a good thought. And maybe we can continue to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. But I asked for a 15-minute break from my other class. So I'll have to leave now. So sorry to leave you right in the middle of such an interesting discussion, but we'll continue. Thank you so much.
Happy Mother's Day to all Matajis.
All right. So let us say that all together. Happy
Mother's Day.
There you go. Krishna is our mother. Vanchikalpatrubhya
Vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Gorpremanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you for joining us on Zoom as well as in Facebook. Have a wonderful Mother's Day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.